No, I'm really just
Hi, you guys. Thank you for joining me on the Kimberly Chronicles today. I wanted to try out this new microphone. I'm really weird. I have a microphone already. I have multiple microphones, but I don't have one with the little furry on it, and it looks super cute. So, why did I go on Amazon and waste money to get it? And I did, and it came yesterday, and today is my first time trying it out. And it sounds very clear, crisp, and I love it. It's a great buy. I'm sure my husband is like, as soon as you get your paycheck, you just waste it on everything. I do. But on the kids too, bills. First, bills, then the kids, and then whatever left over. I just get me little trinkets that I don't need. But it makes me happy. And that's all that matters. Yep. But today we're gonna do a video on something that may be familiar to a lot of people or may not. I was today, matter of fact, watching TikTok, and I had seen a video on there talking about the new show with Nelly and Ashanti, and they were talking about the fact that Nelly don't really, want to have anything to do with the baby right now. He's like, once he gets old enough, then you bring him to me. But right now, because he's a baby and he can't really do too much, he gonna stick with the mama. And they were talking about that there are really a lot of single married women. People really don't think that. On the outside looking in, people think because most the women that who are married, you're married. So how are you a single married woman? So that brings my question for today and my episode for today. Is there really a such thing as single married women? Now, I myself have been married twice, and this time is going to be my last time. I think I did right on the second try. So this time is definitely for sure going to be my last time. But I will say, in my first marriage, I did experience somewhat of the single married mom. My ex-husband, in the beginning of the marriage when we had our first child, he really didn't do too much with her. It was mostly me, mostly my mom, or even his mom, because we both had jobs. So he worked at night, I worked in the daytime, and his mom mostly helped. But I think, at the time it really didn't click to me because I was a 19-year-old girl with no common sense whatsoever. So, and I was just dumb and madly in love, didn't have no common sense whatsoever, the common sense that I got now at 35. And I kind of just went with it. But I always think of a time back when we had our second daughter. And what happened was she had just got out of the hospital or whatever. And at the time we was broke. Because when I had my second daughter, I think I was like 20, 21, and we was broke because I was working at McDonald's and I think he was working at some factory or something like that. And she was sleeping in like a little car seat beside the bed, and it was on his side, and she started crying for a bottle, and he couldn't hear her because he was dead asleep. So I'm like hitting him, and I'm like, "Hey, you need to wake up, like feed her." This dude grabbed that car seat, walked all the way on the other side of the bed by me, and put it right beside me. So of course, I'm the one, the default parent, of course, who has to get up, make her bottle, and feed her. And that pretty much just became the norm. Through the years, we were married for I think what 60 years we were married, but we really wasn't. We was married for 6 years, but we was only really together in their marriage for like 4. The other 2, we was both living our lives separately. But yes, we're married for 6 years, and 4 of them was how we were actually living in the same house together and being married. And I did do a lot for the girls. I was the ones doing their hair, giving them baths, cooking, doing all that stuff. Um, And the only time I will say that he did make it a point to actually step up and do something was when he got the new girl that he had cheated on me with. And I guess he wanted to make it known that, hey, I'm a family man because I take care of my girls. And I will say that's probably the only time he actually made a point when they were small to be like, okay, I'm actually gonna be a dad and do the fatherly things because he was trying to impress her. But trust me, while he was with me during that time, there was no impressing. I did everything, and if I didn't do everything, my mom did everything. Now we can fast forward now because, of course, my children are older, we're older, and now as a dad, he does take the initiative to actually want to do stuff. You know, me and him have always talked about the past sometimes, and he, of course, have apologized and said, hey, I was young. I had never, I'd never really had a father figure in my life, so I really didn't know how to exactly be one myself. So I will say I did in that time experience that. I It's a lot of other women that I know who are married and their spouses do nothing, literally nothing. There are actually some men in the world who thinks that, oh, all am I supposed to do is just work and pay the bills and nothing else. And I do understand that to an extent, especially when you have a stay-at-home mom who doesn't work but she takes care of the household, pretty much a homemaker. I get that. But don't you think that that's a job as well? She's not getting income for it, but being a homemaker, a stay-at-home mom, is a job. That's not easy. And I will say that I have 4 children. If I had to choose between working a job where I could be away from the home or being at home with my kids, I would always choose to be at a job. Yes. Even now, like right now, my kids are older. So me being in the house with them would not be so bad because the two oldest are teenagers. So they really just would rather be stuck in their rooms doing their own thing. But I still have a 9-year-old and a 7-year old who still like to be involved and be in my skin all the time. But I do feel as a woman, like, granted, a man works a lot, a man that's in the household that does work, I feel like you do have to sometimes put in the effort with your kids. That's the same thing with my husband, too. I had to get on his case about it every once in a while. When we first had our daughter, I will have to commend him, like give him 1,000 trophies, because when I had my other three, my ex-husband, he didn't get up and change no diapers or make no bottles or do nothing. It was all me. And then when I met my husband, Shannon, we had our daughter, Aaron. It was like a whole little 360. Like it was a whole chain of events because he, at the time, like with the military paternity leave, they get to have 3 months off. And my husband, we had our child at the time when you only got 10 days. Yes, 10 days. I can't even believe the Army did that. But yeah, back in the day, I can't believe I'm saying that. 7 years ago, it was only like 10 days. And now it's 3 months. And I told my husband, like, I really feel sorry for you because I'm not going to have another baby just so you can experience them 3 months. So, yeah, you just have to watch other people do it because I'm not doing it. The baby factory is closed. I can't do it no more. I can't. I cherish my sleep and my sanity, and I'm at that point. I don't need no babysitter. My oldest child is about to be 16 in November. I don't need a babysitter, and I'm not trying to get one. My youngest is 7, and she know how to sit her butt down and do what she's supposed to do. She be on her tablet, and she know how to sit her butt down. So, yep, we'll never have to worry about that again. But anyway, at that time, my husband had just came back from deployment. So he had missed 2 weeks of her life already. He came back. They ended up letting him get the paternity leave. And it was great. Like he got up, he changed her diaper, he fed her, he gave her baths. And I was like, what? I've never experienced this before. Like he really shocked me. I had never in life, out of giving birth to 3 other children beforehand, never experienced a man who actually took the time to help because I had always done it by myself. And he even continued, like, he when he had to go to work, he had to be at PT at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he had to get up at 4, get ready. And I lived off post. So he was staying with me at the time. Because we weren't married at the time. So, and yep, he don't even ask me how he was able to sneak in that paternity leave. I don't even know. But he was able to. But I think we got married. This was I think like in March, and we ended up getting married like in May. But he would drive my car on post to go to PT every morning, and he would have to get up at 4. So if she's waking up at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, he would get up. And I would feel so bad because at the time I wasn't working. I was on maternity leave. So I could sleep in all day. And he was like, no, that's not fair because you was up at 9, 10, 11 o'clock with her and I was trying to sleep. Now it's my turn. My husband deserves a big old father of the year trophy. Like, he really helped me out a lot. Now, if you ask him now, does he want a baby? He'll tell you, hell no. And you be like, well, why, Shannon? Why you don't want more kids? He was like, I don't miss losing sleep, and I had to get up early and still had to go to PT. I think it like really was a traumatic experience for him. Like, I really think that shit beat his ass. I really do. I think it was a traumatic experience because he loved doing it. Of course, he loved his daughter, but he said that he was exhausted all the time. He was like, I still had to go to PT every morning. I still had to do my job and come home and still be a dad. And I respect him wholeheartedly for that. But now, as I will say, as time has, gone. The kids are older now. And of course, like I said, my husband is military, especially when we were in Alaska. He was never at home because if he wasn't in Japan or Finland, he was in the field because he's infantry. And what did that mean? That it was just me by myself all the time with the kids. I was the default parent. And I think in a certain point, he did get used to just being gone all the time because I was the one who was always there. And then when he was there, he was like, okay, I'm gonna use this time to just relax and chill. And I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off sometimes because I was like, hello, you're here now. We about to do some family outings. Get up off your butt. We about to take these kids somewhere. Trust me, he was pissed off at me a lot of times because he thought he was about to relax. No, you're not. And you can relax when you get home. I'm not gonna take up your whole weekend, but I'm at least take up one of them with doing stuff with these kids. And he used to be pissed. But then once we go to the outing and do everything, he will be okay and be like, okay, Kim, I'm actually glad that I did spend time. Because I told him, you will be surprised. Kids remember things from when they're small. My oldest, Peyton is 15 and Joe is 13. They remember stuff. Like, especially when I was working 2 jobs, when I first split from my ex-husband, I was working 2 jobs, y'all. I was working at McDonald's early in the morning from 4 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I will get off, go home, take a nap, and then I'll work at the shopette from 3:30 in the afternoon to 9:30 at night. And I did this big and pregnant for months because I had to do what I had to do. I had my own place. I had these 2 kids, and my mom at the time was living with me. The bill still had to be paid. And trust me, I was tired. At 35 years old, you can't pay me right now to work 2 jobs. I don't even think I could do it now. But at that moment, I had no other choice because wasn't nobody helping me. I wouldn't get no child support. Nobody was helping me for real. I will say the most my ex-husband, he did help with keeping them while I did work. So he did do that. But my kids remember the times that I did have off. Me and my best friend Linda. I miss you, girl. You over there in New York. You gotta come visit me. But anyway, um, me and Linda, because she was my roommate at the time, we would take the kids to Sonic to go play all the time. And she would kill me because she was like, I think people think we like a lesbian couple. because I would be, she was kind of just girly at the time, and I would literally be looking like a stud because I was big and pregnant and tired, wearing sweats and big old t-shirts, and she was like, "Girl, these people probably think we're a lesbian couple with these two kids," and I was like, "It is what it is. I really don't care." But I used to take the time to take them to Golden Corral, take them to the movies, do stuff with them. And even my friend Linda, she would like do my kids' makeup for holidays like Halloween and Christmas. She would like bake cookies and decorate with them. And my kids are teenagers now, and they remember that. So you all like, you gotta make an effort when your kids is small to always do stuff with them. So just to sum it up, I do think that is a such thing as single married mom. I see it a lot in the military world, if you really want to be honest. There are a lot of men in the military who feel like, oh, I work, I pay all the bills, I don't have to do nothing but just go to work. But the question I ask is that fair? What about the women that do work also and still got to come home and cook and clean and take care of the kids? Because I've been that mom too, where I still worked a job and still had to come home, do hair, help with homework, cook a meal, give baths, all that. So it's not fair, because if a woman can do it all, I'm sure a man can too. Like, come on now. I feel like it can be done. I feel like a lot of men need to get off their high horse and actually take the time to help, because at the end of the day, your children are going to remember that when they get older. Do you want them to be like, oh yeah, all my dad did was just work all the time, and when he came home he really didn't do nothing? Do you want them to be like that, or do you want them to be like, yeah, my dad worked, but he used to take time to actually play with us, do stuff, take us out on the weekends or take us to the park? I know it's nerve wracking, doing both, being a working parent and trying to interact with your kids. Trust me, being with your kids is a job by itself. But just remember, they do remember that. The memories that you create as children is going to be very important to them when they're older and when they're adults. Like, I can remember my mom never worked when I was a kid because my mom is schizophrenic. So she always got disability. But I'll tell you this about my mom. My mom did everything with me. Everything. Like, she didn't have a car, so she walked everywhere, and she always took me with her, walking everywhere. She played, I can remember, she bought me a cash register. I wanted to play store all the time. We did that. She bought me a Barbie mall for Christmas one year. I would play with her. I used to have a bunch of stuffed animals, and I would get my paper from school and cut it in strips and like put a rubber band around the stuffed animals' little ears or whatever, and stick the hair in it and make it seem like I had like a beauty salon or some stuff. And she would sit there and play with me. And at 35 years old, I still remember that. Even my own children, like when my mom lived with me, she was a blessing and helped me so much with my kids. Like, she would always take the time and play when I was tired from work and didn't really have the patience. She always took the time to entertain them. So, yes, it can be done. And I hope all the guys who are watching this, if your wife or your significant other is telling you like you need to do more of these kids, do more of these kids and actually help. Because if a woman can sit here and do it all, I'm sure you can do it all too. So, yep, I actually do agree that there is such things as single married women. But people can change. Things can get better. But you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know about either your experiences. Let me know about your comments. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye. No, I'm really just